Hi, my name is Aimee Winder Newton. I am a Salt Lake County Council member. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Evoke Energy, and I'm a mom of 4 kids. I'm excited to be talking to you today on The Voice of a Woman. I have had opportunities in lots of different business fields. I did start my own mortgage business and did that for 9 years. I later started a public relations firm. And then I ran for office, and I've had a wonderful chance to be able to even run for governor of my state. I only took 3rd place out of 7 and didn't win, but it was a wonderful experience nonetheless. I currently work in the energy sector for a startup, and I have loved the varied experiences I have, from looking at public budgets and figuring out how we can save taxpayer dollars and improve people's lives in public service, to looking at ways that we can help people become financially secure. And there's so many different opportunities I've had, and I love those experiences. I feel like I've learned a little bit from each one, and they've really shaped me as a person. I've been able to use the skill sets that I've gained in college, also being a stay-at-home mom for many years. Those are skill sets that I took away and used in my business and public service as well. And so I feel very lucky that I've been able to be in so many different fields of work, and that I've had so many different life opportunities. I get bored easily. And so for me to be able to have varied experiences in different arenas has been really helpful to me. And it's something that has been enriching in my life. I had an opportunity to be involved in the incorporation of my city. So we lived in an area that was served by the county, and it was considered unincorporated land. So it wasn't an official city. And during that time, we had some decisions that were made that we weren't happy with as a community. And so when I was a senior in college, a bunch of us got together and decided that we wanted to become our own city and be able to elect people from our area and have a voice. And I was able to be involved in that effort. I was the public relations and advertising person for the effort, and also served as the spokesperson when I was 20. And it was such a great experience to be able to do that. Because of that, once it did pass with an overwhelming vote, and Taylorsville in Utah became a city, and we've kind of felt like founding fathers and mothers in a way. And so because of that, I wanted to stay engaged and be able to serve my community. And so I applied to be on the Planning and Zoning Commission. And this is the group that makes zoning decisions, land use decisions for the city. And so when I was in my 20s, I was able to serve there for 8 years. And during that time, I also had a few babies. So it was a great opportunity to be able to get away and serve, but also not have that interfere with my home life, and be able to, my husband got to have 2 nights a month where he was in charge of dinner and getting everybody situated. And it was a great experience for him as well. So anyway, that's kind of what got me started there. And it's funny because over 20 years later, when I ended up in public office and had to make some zoning decisions, I already had some of that background. And so it was a great starting place for me in my public service. Oh my goodness. I am so grateful for my degree in mass communications. My emphasis in public relations has helped me immensely in every single job that I've had. Whether it's starting my own PR firm and being able to help other clients as they navigate the media. One of the things I felt like I was good at was finding good, positive stories to get the media to cover for my clients. And being able to even be trained in crisis communications. I was the public information officer for a city for a time. But then I was able to use those skills, the writing skills, the communication, even some of the TV experience that I had in PR in my public office. And so those have come in handy and I've been able to use them there. I feel like they've been incredibly helpful in my career as I've moved forward. I feel like when I've had to overcome challenges in my professional life, it's overcoming challenges in my personal life that have helped train me to be able to do that. I'll give you an example. When I was 25, my 2-year-old daughter was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and she only had a 40% chance of survival. And they told us after her brain surgery, she'd likely be either blind, deaf, or paralyzed as a result of the brain surgeries. Well, you can imagine as young parents, we were devastated. We didn't know what the future of our daughter would be. And we also didn't realize what a long road of recovery we would have ahead of us. So she successfully made it through her 2 brain surgeries, but was left with some disabilities, lost all of her motor skill function and had to relearn all of that again. And every day for 7 years, I woke up in the morning and thought, what do I need to do for this little girl today? And so I explored every avenue, every doctor, every opportunity that I could give her to be able to fully rehabilitate. And I worked hard at it. And that persistence, I think that's part of why I feel this need in public office and in my professional life to fight for everyday people and to be advocates for people, because that experience taught me how to fight for others. And it also provided me with some resiliency that's helped as I've gone through other challenges. We've had everything from children with mental health challenges to, I lost my mom suddenly in a car accident when my mom was 57 about 10 years ago. And those experiences, while tragic and hard in my personal life, those are the things that gave me the faith and the fortitude and helped me find who I was, so that when I served in other arenas, I was able to have empathy for other people and be able to problem solve and do the things that I needed to do to be successful. My biggest responsibility, I felt, was to be an advocate for my colleagues. We have a really interesting county council. At the time, we had 5 Republicans and 4 Democrats and a Democratic mayor. So it was the most bipartisan, evenly split government entity in Utah. And though I was a Republican as the chair, I did feel this responsibility to also advocate for my Democrat colleagues when they needed things. And I got to know them better, and it was such a great opportunity. I feel like often we get put in situations and we may feel like an imposter. We may feel like we don't belong there or that we're not qualified, but just getting in there and diving in and doing it is what gives us those leadership opportunities and skills. And that's how we develop them. And I'm so grateful for that opportunity. So I'm a big advocate in having both men and women at the table. I believe that better things happen when we have both genders represented. When I was first elected to the Salt Lake County Council, I was the only woman on a council of 9. And I quickly learned that I asked different questions and I thought about things differently than my male colleagues, and how useful it is to have both men and women there. There's a Harvard study that talks about how when you have both men and women at a decision-making table in government or business, that there's better outcomes. And I believe that that's true. One of the things that I did a couple years ago is I started a women in government class where I recognized that more women would get involved if they felt like they knew a little bit about government, and that was a barrier for a lot of women in my state. And so I actually hosted a few meetings in my home where I invited women to come, and I did a basic civics class talking about the different levels of government and what happens in each, and basically just wanting to be able to give them enough of that knowledge so they could feel like they could engage in the public sphere. But I do believe that we need more women to get involved and that our voices do matter. As I mentioned, I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Evoke Energy. This is a new role that I started in about 6 months ago, and it's been such a great opportunity. The other fields I've been in, I've done communications, I've done mortgages, so a little bit of math, lots of English and writing in one career. I've done public office, so social studies, but science is the one field I haven't done. And so just by happenstance, I've ended up in a science field, which is probably my weakest area too. And I've had to learn a lot, and it's been hard to be able to get up to speed and not have my eyes glaze over when, some of these scientists are giving me data. But it's been a wonderful opportunity to stretch myself and to be able to be in a field that is completely different from anything I've ever done before. It's also wonderful to be able to work with people who are working hard to make things happen, and fun to see things that can move quicker than maybe government moves sometimes. As I mentioned previously, I started in city government with my public service. I was serving as the communications director for a city. I also had served previously as a citizen activist, as a planning commissioner, involved in the incorporation effort, like I had mentioned. And so I'm a big advocate of local government. I believe government closest to the people governs best. And that's in our cities and our townships and in our towns. And so anytime we can push government down to the most local level where people actually know their communities and know their needs, I feel like we get better outcomes in government. So I believe that operating on principles is the best way to make decisions in both government and my public service, but also in business. Honesty, being trustworthy, having integrity, those are key core principles for me that I feel like are so important in both of those spheres. As far as leadership, I think it's so important to be willing to listen to other people and collaborate and be somebody who can work with others, because that's how we get things done. As I mentioned, we do have a partisan body. We have Democrats and Republicans on our council. And I have to say that not all of the good ideas have come from my party, that people from both parties have good ideas, and that we need to be willing to listen and understand their different perspectives. I was involved in some of the mental health work that we were doing as a state. How do we lower the incidences of suicide, and how do we help those who are struggling with mental and behavioral health issues? And I had a really great opportunity where one of my colleagues who is gay was able to pull me aside and just say, hey, if you ever want to talk about the mental health issues that the LGBTQ community experiences, I'm happy to chat. And I took him up on that offer. And so we sat down together. He's one of my Democrat colleagues. We sat down together and he was able to share his story. And it was so impactful to me and so important as I was looking at this work and how to move it forward. And to give me that understanding from somebody else's perspective was vital. And I just think if we have more of that in government, where we actually listen to each other, we're going to be more successful. We're going to be able to be more successful as a county, as a state, and as a country. So that's a core principle for me of leadership. In closing, the message that I would love to share with those who are listening is that leadership matters, and your experiences in your life, whether you're a stay-at-home mom or you're working 2 jobs or you're a volunteer or whatever sphere you're working in and you're doing things in, those are valuable experiences that can help you in whatever you choose to do. It can help you in your professional life. It can help you in public service. Experiences matter, and being able to experience and have empathy for other people and what they've experienced is also vital as we look at managing others in a company, or as we look at making public policy decisions in a government. Understanding real people and making those human connections is so critical. I'm so grateful I was able to be here with you today and share some of my experiences. Thank you so much.